Hello, it's me, Officer Tony Woods. I'm not even in the center of this shot, Ricky. Move the dang camera. No, the other way. There you go. Ah, jeez. Look at this background. We got cables and some old guitar and some books. Those ain't your books, Ricky. You don't read the romance stuff. They must belong to your wife. Anyway, here we go. Today, Ricky's gonna show his home studio. And you should pay attention, because if you spend a lot of money and buy a lot of crap, then you can make a video like this one day. Without further ado, on with the show.
Hello, all the way down there. Richard from budgetguitarist.com. And today we're going to take a tour of my budget home studio, which is really no different than my YouTube channel set. It's the same thing, which is also no different than my performing live rig. But we'll get to all that. We're going to start out here on the wall that you never see. As you walk into my studio, on the right-hand wall, which is right behind me, you will see, let me get out of the way. Up here is a big three-dimensional keyboard, which my parents gave to me, which is awesome. And then below that, we've got my Sony TV. This is where I watch videos, movies, me and the kids, me and the family, etc., and so on. And you can see on each side of the screen here, these are my Kenwood bookshelf speakers. Let's go over here. And then also over here to the left, over here, that's my old tip jar. Right now it's full of parts, video adapters, etc. Over to the right a little bit, you can see that's a bunch of tripods and stands and whatnot. So then panning down, we got a bunch of interesting stuff. Photos, deflated football, cable box. We got an old GameCube down here. We got a bunch of my CDs. We've got Castle Panic, which is a really cool board game. You should play it. A couple more boxes of photos, some GameCube controllers. Normally I've got an old Wii that I keep in this room. We have a Switch and a Wii U that are both upstairs down here. Normally I have a Wii, but the power supply broke. So anyway, here's all the games for the GameCube. I don't play a ton of video games, but I do play sometimes. Okay, then over here we got Band of Brothers, Apple TV, ancient Mac Mini, Blu-ray player, collectible Dog's Life cassette. This is my Sony receiver. And then underneath that, I've got a Nakamichi cassette deck. This is the cassette deck 2, which is sort of like the budget Nakamichi, so to speak, but it's an excellent, outstanding cassette deck. If you go further around the room to the left, there's a bathroom door. There's one of the lights that I use for YouTube. And then on this wall here, I've got my bass guitars hanging. Over here is my Fender Bassbreaker 15. That is sitting on an orange cab. That's a 1x12 with a Celestian Vintage 30. And in front of it, we got Shure SM57, right? Which is like the microphone for recording guitar amps. So when I'm recording a real tube amp, this is my setup. And I've got the cabinet, I don't know if you can see, but I've got it up on bricks. And then over here a little bit, hiding behind all these guitars, here's my old FloorPod Plus. I've got a bunch of cables, right? So this guy right here that looks like a guitar headstock, that was a gift from my cousin and his family, and that's for holding chords. I have two more over on the other side of the room. Here are my guitars that I use all the time. So I've got my PRS SE Custom 24, my PRS Satin Standard 24, American made. Gibson Les Paul 70s Tribute, Mexican-made Tele, custom shop pickups. It's my Fender Strat made out of parts. That's got American neck, Mexican body, custom shop pickups, locking tuners, blah, blah, blah. Let's look at the desk. Here we have two Alesis Monitor 1 speakers. This is what I mix on. I have had these speakers for 30 years. 30 years I've been mixing on them. They're not great sounding speakers, but that's not the point. I know how they sound. I know the sound of these speakers really well. So when I'm mixing, this is what I mix on. And then I check my mix on a billion other systems. I'll check them on the Kenwood speakers you just saw. I'll check them on my PA speakers, etc. This is my work computer. And I don't do any music stuff on it. I only do web development and web programming. That's why you never see like music software running on this thing. There's none installed. This is strictly work only. Okay, and then scrolling down, USF cup with water in it. Go Bulls. Let me move that out of the way. Okay, so here's a couple of backup drives. This is a Furman power supply. All of my music audio stuff goes through here. Above that, I've got a PV Valve King 20mH. So this is a 20-watt tube head made by PV. It's out of its case. Don't do this at home, kids. It's extremely dangerous. If you touch the wrong component, you'll get zapped. But I did it because I wanted to have easy access to it. Let's see, a couple of pens. Nail clippers, very important for a guitar player. That's a slide glass slide spare toothbrush. This is nose stuff. Got nasal mist. Got some eyeglasses cleaner stuff. Got a harmonica. Okay. And then let's see, what do we have here? I have a I have an HP wired mouse, Apple wired keyboard. This again is for work stuff. There's my glasses. Okay. Now we get to some of the more music stuff. This is my Mackie power amp. This is the FR800. It's about 200 watts per channel, and this is what I use to drive the Alesis monitors. And even though this is really like a live sound amplifier, it is super, super flat. This is a stand for a smartphone if you're filming. This is the Alesis Picoverb. I keep this around because I like the vocal plate. There's like a plate reverb on here that I really like to use. Okay? And then over here we've got, this is an Alesis stereo compressor, the 3630 stereo compressor. It's not great, and usually I don't use it. I pretty much do everything in the computer, but if I ever want to, I've got a stereo compressor. Underneath that is the heart of my studio right now. This is the Tascam US16x8. So this device runs on USB. It has 16 channels worth of input. So I can record 16 tracks at a time, and it's got 8 channels output. So I can basically there's a lot of things I can do with that. I have a lot of routing options. So if I want to do monitoring or whatever I want to do, this is, I think it was around $300, maybe a little less. Outstanding value. Sounds really good too. So I've got everything hooked through here. Right now, the condenser mic that I'm speaking into, the lapel mic, is going into channels 15 and 16. So there's that. Here we got my Shure in-ear monitors. This is the budget set of in-ear monitors by Shure. So these are around $100. And they work pretty well. They're okay for $100 in-ear headphones, I guess. So there's that. This is kind of cool. I got this so that when I'm doing like guitar videos, if I'm like doing fret work, this is a USB microscope. And so I can take pictures and I can take video like really, really close. One of my goals in life is to perfect the art of fretwork, because fretwork is how a guitar plays. If you can level and crown at a world-class level, you can make world-class guitars, basically, or you can make guitars very, very playable. Anyway, USB microscope. Up here is basically where I keep all my picks. Picks I'm using, what are these? These are 1mm pick. These are, what are they? Dunlop, and they're, I don't know if you can tell, but they've got like raised dots on them. And so, you know, with a flat plastic pick, it goes flying out of my hand, especially if I'm sweating, like on a stage or something. And so this is like, gives you a surface to grab. I really like those. Up here, this is a Bluetooth wireless keyboard, Apple keyboard, that I'm not currently using, but I could, but I'm not. Okay. And then over here, This is my main computer. Pardon the mess in the background. So this is a 2016 MacBook Pro with 16 gig of RAM. It's an i7 processor. It's got 512 gig of SD storage, or whatever it's called. And you can see right now I'm recording this voiceover in it. So running Logic Pro on here. I'm also running Final Cut Pro on here. I'm also running Ableton Live Intro on here for my live stuff. And I've got the HX Edit on here. I got tons and tons of stuff on here. This is a phenomenal computer. And even though it's from 2016, it can still do everything I need it to do these days. So actually, I bought that used about maybe half a year ago. Saved a ton of money. So there you go. We're recording that. So then to the left of that, I have my mixer. This is a Yamaha 12 channel. It's the MG12XU. So it's got an SPX effects unit in it. And I use this for monitoring in my home studio. And then when I do live gig, this is how I want to mix the live gig. So even though my Tascam 16:8 interface has a built-in digital mixer, even though I don't really need this thing, I still like during a gig to be able to reach over and have actual real sliders that I can move around really quick. So I could be playing on the keyboard and I could reach over here and just adjust a slider. And that's cool. Okay. So behind the laptop, I've got a little Alesis Multimix 4 USB mixer here. And the only job of this mixer is to take the input from my lapel microphone, which I'm talking into right now, and boost the signal and send it over to the Tascam. So then under here, I've got one of my older interfaces. This is the Scarlett 2i2, which is a great interface. I'm not currently using it. On top of that, I've got my HX Stomp, and y'all know what that is if you watch this channel. This thing is unbelievable. Okay, so over here on this wall, let me give you a little perspective. Here's where we just were. You've seen my big, humongous EV ZLX12 speakers. These are powered 1,000-watt speakers. That's for live performance. That is my live PA, in addition to this stool. I always take this stool when I'm doing a gig because actually it is a 12-inch powered EV subwoofer. And I think that's 400 watts. So I've got 2,400 watts in my live rig. Should be enough. But in my studio, I put a little pillow on it, and then it is a seat for my guitar repair area. Okay, so on the wall here, I got a Fender clock. I got a 1/2-inch reel of recording tape left over from college. That's from the 80s, kids. That's how we used to record. So there's my 50s tribute Gibson gold top with P90s. My Epiphone Les Paul, one of the ones we were working on previous videos. There's my Epiphone ES339. Over here is a stack of guitars. I really don't have enough room in this small studio space, but you know, whatever. I'm glad that I do have a studio space. So then over here, here's my table. And you can see I got a Dremel over there, powered screwdriver, sets of strings, soldering station. That blue box there, this guy, the DMXis, that is a $300 box that allows you to control DMX lights from a computer. So when I do a live gig, I can connect that box to my laptop and I can synchronize my lights to the backing tracks I'm using. So when I do a gig, normally I'll have drums and bass coming off the computer. And because I'm doing that, I can sync the lights and I can send patch changes to my Stomp. I can send patch changes to my main stage, keyboard software. So then what else? Bunch of other junk. There's a mandolin. I forget what kind it is. There's my Larrivee acoustic guitar, Fender posters. Out here is my backyard. There's a grill. Okay, so where I am right now is I just showed you my backyard with the grill out there. This is the couch. I've got the blinds closed because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see me at all. And This couch is where I sit, or we sit in the family and watch the Sony TV, which is on the other wall. This is also where I kind of kick back and play guitar and hang out, etc., and so on. You might be curious as to why in all my videos I'm almost always wearing shorts. Well, it's because I live in Florida. So we're in October right now, right? Things are starting to cool down. It should be nice, cool, crisp air outside. You know, no. It's 5:18 p.m. right now, and it's 86 degrees, right? That's why I have shorts on. It's 86 degrees at 5 p.m. On the other hand, we don't have snow, but anyway, that's why I have shorts on. So there you go. Okay, I have 6 microphones, and they're all budget mics, and I'm going to go through them and explain them to you. So this is the EV-ND767A. They don't even make these anymore. When I bought it, it was $129. This is the equivalent to a Shure SM58 Beta. So what it is a fairly durable, really good sounding vocal microphone. And this is what I sing into. If this mic breaks at a gig, which is not going to happen, but if it did, my backup is the Shure SM57, which you just saw on the other side of the room. This thing is a tank. You can record anything with this. If you want to have a home studio and you can only afford one microphone, this might be a pretty decent choice. Although I would argue that one of my other mics would be a better choice. But still, SM57, great mic. Let's stick with Shure. This is the Shure SM7B with some lint on it. And this is a really good mic for doing like voiceovers or anything where you want to do, you know, you get up close. In a world where one cop puppet reigns supreme. In a world where one budgetguitarist.com website reigns supreme. That's what this thing is for. So a lot of podcasters use these, a lot of radio announcers use these. I tried this on my guitar amp, and I discovered that I didn't think it sounded as good as the 57, so go figure. They're very similar microphones, actually. But anyway, so SM7B, neat mic. And then I've got this guy here, which I used for my first 3 albums. This is what I recorded all my vocals with and all my acoustic guitars with. This is the Rode NT1A. This is a $200 large diaphragm condenser microphone, and almost every home studio in the world has one of these things. So for $200, I don't think you can get a better mic. It really does sound great on vocals. It's a great vocal mic, and I love this thing, and I still use it for vocals. But I also have this guy here, which is the AKG C214. So this is also a large diaphragm condenser microphone. The 214 is the little brother of the 414. The 414 is a $1,000 microphone that Sting used to record vocals on. This sounds kind of like that microphone. It's similar, but it's not as good, to be blunt. So here's the deal for you folks doing home recording. Let me take the NT out one more time. Hang on. If you have a home studio and you want to record vocals, between these 2 mics, the NT1A is more forgiving about the room you're in. And the NTA, it's probably easier to get good results with this microphone. Now, to my mind, the C214 sounds better, but the thing is it picks up everything. And so, like, you need to be in a vocal booth or you need to be in a really good sounding room, because otherwise, this is maybe not going to sound very good. Speaking of vocal booths, I'm not going to show you that today. But I have a portable vocal booth that I built, and I can store it in basically a couple of bags. It takes about 20 minutes to put it up and about 20 minutes to take it down. And when I record vocals, I set up this booth. The booth is about 6 foot by 6 foot, and it's about 7 feet tall. I will be doing a video on that, and I got the idea from another YouTube channel, another YouTube video. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing that episode. The thing is, I don't know how many people who watch this channel or who will watch this channel in the future are interested in home recording. I mean, I hope there's a bunch of you out there that are. But if not, I mean, I'm going to make the videos that I think that some people might find useful. And if you find it useful, great. If you don't, I'll be making other videos. I will be doing a video on Stevie Ray Vaughan. I will be doing a video on using PRS, my PRS humbucker guitars with the HX Stomp. I got a lot of other videos in mind for the future. But for today, I just wanted to do this studio tour. So there you go. That was my home recording studio for 2020. If you have any questions, leave those questions in the comments section below. If you want to see specific videos on any piece of gear that I own, let me know, and I'll see if I can do that for you. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click the like button. And we will see you again next Friday at 5.